Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Um, I wanted to get on here to God had told me some things, and I thought that it was so amazing that He said these things to me, and I really want to share this with you because it is amazing. Well, God is always amazing. Um, Last week, I think it was last week or the week before, God was talking to me and he said to me, he said, there are some things that you have blocked in your mind, and you block those things, and those things that are blocked, they halt you or stop you from different opportunities, different things that you need to do. It blocks you from those things. And so I was like, okay, and I had thought about those things because, I have done some uh, mind renewal from things that didn't happen. So I can, you can't keep doing and or thinking the same way, thinking on top of thinking that you're going to get a different result. So he was telling me because I wanted to know why certain things didn't change in my life. And he said to me, he says, and I kind of wrote it down and stuff uh, after the fact of me going in and having to pray and stuff. So, and this is what he said. He said, there are some things you are waiting for, but you can't seem to get your mind open for this change to happen in your life. Sometimes we want certain things. It's just like everybody knows about, relationship. Just like you want a husband or you want a relationship, but you're not really prepared for it. You just want it because at that particular time you might be just lonely, you know. But in this, he was saying your mind is not open for this change to happen in your life. It says it's like you want to change, you desire to change. You That's your desire. You desire to change. But change starts in the mind. Change don't start with lip service. Change starts in the mind. And he said to me, he said, but there are some blocks. And sometimes, this was really amazing to me. He said, sometimes blocks happen unaware. And I was like, unaware. And he said, sometimes blocks can happen unaware. He said, but here's what you do. Now, this is what he told me to do. He says, take your age, in which this is an example, and don't be trying to judge me. But he said, take your age, and the example is I'm 54. And he said, flip your age, and for me is 45. Now, this is a disclaimer. Let me tell y'all something. If you is 40 years old and you flip it and it says zero, go with the number that's left. Because I can already understand you'd be calling like, well, that is zero. That happened to me before time. Well, some things did happen in the womb. They call bloodline curses, but we're not going to get into that. So he told me, he said, take your age, which I am 54. Then he said, flip that number. And when I flipped the number was 45. He said, then use that number, which for me, he said, use the first number that comes up, which for me will be 4. And then he said, start praying about that age. He said, that age altered your thinking. And I was like, it altered my thinking. And he said, I want you to come against what happened to you at the age of 4. He said, I want you to come against that thing that happened. He said, you might don't even remember what happened, but he said, come against that. He said, some, now this is where he said, you share this. He said, because some at that age was touched. And it said it left a outlook on your relationship. So when you have relationships, it's always that. It's just like a cake. No matter how much I want to eat cake and still lose weight and still have my health intact, I'm going to eat that cake, but that cake is still going to have that sugar. Even though if I go in the kitchen and get a spoonful of sugar, it's going to taste totally different, but it's sugar in that. So in that, if you're trying to cut out something, you can't eat that cake because the ingredient is in there. And he said, and that's just like having relationships. In your relationships, those things are going to be implemented because you haven't came against those things that didn't happen to you. Well, yes, I did. No, you really didn't do the work. Because if you came against those things, then you will be replacing those things that you done snatched from your soul. And you need to put something else there so it can start operating in that place. He says some things can be just as simple as you being 4 years old and you got something that you want to say. You know how kids are, they have something that they want to say. And we say, shut up. I told you to shut up. You talk too much. So at the age of 4, that put a halt on the inside of you. So now that you're older, you can't speak up for yourself. You can't talk for yourself. You can't sit up there and say, well, no, this is not right. You just go with the flow. And you have been going with the flow for so long that that is your lifestyle. But God said, not so. You don't have to go with the flow. You can create your lifestyle how you want your lifestyle to be. And it's not by being quiet. He says, some of us have seen a lot of uncles come in the household. And this was so amazing to me. He said, when they would see uncles coming in and out of the households, he said, what they would do to you as a kid, you would see that and your worth will go out through your eyes. So then you'll start thinking, well, maybe I should have a lot of uncles too. That made her happy. But that's not so. He says, some of you have been holding secrets since you was a little girl or a little boy. You've been holding these secrets. And I was like, secrets? He said, yeah, you have secrets. And he said, you tell them that they've been holding secrets that mom and dad told them. Oh, like some guys hang with their dad and then dad is married to mom and he goes pick up the side chick. I'm just being honest. Pick up the side chick and then tell the kid, you keep this secret. So that secret that you keep it, you done suppress that thing because that thing actually altered your thinking in thinking that's the way it should be. That's not how it should be. That's not how it should be. You don't have to take on those behaviors. He says, some of you have been holding this, and even in your rejection, he said, you have been rejected in the past when you were little. And he said, and that put a halt on you. Now you don't understand why that rejection is. So every relationship you get in, there is a rejection, or you feel like you're not good enough, or you feel like that person don't love you. He said, you're going to have to pray and come against that. Then you're going to have to do the work behind it. And some of us don't want to do the work. And then some of us like the way we are. Y'all know that. Some of us, like the way we are. We don't want to change. He said, but that Because you can't comprehend the rejection, your comprehension in other areas of your life has been shattered. You comprehend things totally different because you're thinking at as a kid at 4 years old. I'm talking to me. At 4 years old, it have been rejected. At 4 years old. So now you need to do the work. Now you want to stand up for yourself. Now you want to do these things and you cannot stop. You can't stop. I'm only going to do it for, a little bit. Okay. So I try to get on here and do 10 minutes, because when I do it with the church and I send videos and we do our little things, I try to do it under 10 minutes because the attention span and everything. So we're at 11 minutes. So give me about a couple of more minutes and I'll be out of here. And it says, your comprehension was shattered. And it says, if you really think about it and go back, those things will come back to you. And whatever comes up in your mind, that's what you need to rebuke. I am not that way. I am not this person that I have mentally created because of somebody else's life. Huh? He said, denounce that thinking and move forward. And the way that you move forward is that you have to replace those thoughts immediately. Immediately. Some of us need to just write it down and say, I'll replace this with this. And then you need to start saying that when that comes up. Oh no, I feel lonely and rejected. Oh no, I'm not lonely and I'm not rejected. I am loved because I love me. And what you do to yourself and how you treat yourself, that is what determines how people are going to treat you. And it took me a very long time to learn that. And I know that this is stuff that you already know, but I thought it was so amazing that he cared so much about me that he would let me know a secret, a secret of getting myself delivered so I can receive the blessings. Because God can say, you are blessed. He can say, you're a blessed woman. But we'll look at the outlook of things, what we don't have, or what is not working for us, or this thing always happened to us, or why come I keep getting into the same relationship that I'm getting into. He said those things keep happening because of our thinking, because of the way that we were built. That's why he said, renew your mind. Even when I study on renewing your mind, he said, renew your mind. I'm like, renew my mind. Yes, renew your mind from those old things, from those things like what we learned as children. And not saying nothing against you, parents. We all make mistakes. They don't come with books. But if you was a big part of that, then you should help out in the transformation. That's it. So I just wanted to come out because my time is going, I'm at 12 minutes. It looked like 12, 13 minutes. And so I didn't want to stay on here too long and everything, but I just wanted to let you guys know. And thank you for listening to my video and stuff. I really do appreciate it, but please do the work. Do the work. And happy Lent.